French ERUPT as Macron crackdown issue more coronavirus restrictions but COVID cases still going up. Brexit campaigners have been blasting Emmanuel Macron's government's latest coronavirus restrictions as they draw comparisons between France and the UK. France will close nightclubs ahead of Christmas and tighten social distancing measures in response to the emergent Omicron variant of the coronavirus, but there is no need for new lockdowns or curfews, Prime Minister Jean Castex said on Monday. Mr. Castex said a fifth wave of the pandemic was now surging through the country. But he said that with 52 million people now vaccinated, nearly 90% of those eligible, the situation is better than in previous outbreaks and there is no need for drastic measures to save Christmas. Health Minister Olivier Véran said the combination of vaccination booster shots and more rigorous social distancing would allow France to avoid renewed lockdowns currently being imposed in several European countries. He said, "We want to get through this wave of the pandemic without new constraints on the whole of the French population, whether they are vaccinated or not." The move has sparked the fury of Brexit campaigners who look at Brexit Britain, where nightclubs will, for now, remain open and the use of the hated COVID-19 pass is yet to be introduced. Generation Brexit leader Charles-Henri Gallois said, "If the health pass worked, there would be no need to close nightclubs." The liberticidal and discriminatory health pass was accepted in France to have as a reward new restrictions. In England, there is no health pass and nightclubs are open. Les Patriotes leader Florian Philippot echoed, "The health pass follows a logic of segregation. Society would not have accepted it morally 2 years ago. There are people I no longer recognize." From Friday, nightclubs will be shut for 4 weeks and the government also called on citizens to voluntarily limit private and professional gatherings, while tightening requirements for mask wearing in schools. From December 15, children aged 5 to 11 who are overweight or who have a serious health condition will be offered access to vaccination. Children over the age of 12 can already be inoculated. Mr. Véran said France would get its first deliveries of Pfizer COVID vaccines for children from December 13 and that he hoped vaccinations would be available to all children from December 20. There are about 6 million children aged 5 to 11 in France, and 350,000 in that age bracket who are overweight or who have serious health conditions. Mr. Véran also said France had identified 25 positive cases of the Omicron variant, 21 imported by people returning from southern Africa and the rest the result of local infection. He said the infection rate had started to slow down, while remaining high. On Monday, the 7-day moving average of new cases was up by 44% compared to a week earlier, down from week-on-week increases over 80% seen 2 weeks ago. New Caledonia is set to hold a referendum on independence from France this weekend, the third and final poll meant to conclude a decolonization process initiated 30 years ago. For anyone who witnessed the first 2 referenda, the contrast with the vote set for the 12th of December is striking. Instead of the countless Kanaki flags or the red, white and blue of the French tricolour that adorned houses, balconies, roadsides, pickups or even people in the run-up to the 2018 and 2020 votes, this year there is little to see. On the place des Coquetiers, in the centre of Nouméa, the capital, the quiet is disturbed only by the incessant patrolling of police trucks, part of the increased security around the vote. The FLNKS, a coalition of pro-independence parties, has called for the vote to be delayed and for Kanaks not to participate, arguing that pandemic lockdown measures and traditional mourning rites prevent it from campaigning properly. The archipelago's indigenous population, who make up 40% of the total and are more likely to vote for independence, have been disproportionately affected by COVID-19. More than 60% of the territory's 276 COVID deaths have been among Kanak and other Pacifica communities. The health situation has not stabilized and the risk of a second wave is still very present and tangible, FLNKS said in a statement last month. Today, the majority of people who have died from COVID are Pacific Islanders, most of them Kanaks.